Okay, hello everybody. I'm going to make a drill press table, adjustable drill press table, and it's going to be based on the woodpecker's version that you see with the extrusions running north and south, and then the fence runs east and west and can be adjusted up and down the aluminum tracks. So what I have is this. I got a bunch of this 5/8 inch track that's slotted. It's got two slots on the top, and then it's got this slot running down the bottom here. You can see here. So I'll be able to drill a hole somewhere along here and fasten a T-nut through the bottom to fasten it to my top. This is upside down. I've got the laminate. My old outfeed table had this laminate, grayish laminate I had on there. So anyway, I'm kind of just brainstorming here, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. But I've got what I do know. The one thing I do know that I want to do is I want to fasten some extra thickness out here on the outside, because I want to cut away. What I want to do is cut away. If this was my top turned right side up, I want to cut away at this portion to hold my extrusion out here. I want to recess it so that this is flush with the top. So whatever this dimension is, I believe it's about 3 inches. Where's my tape measure here? Hang on. So I'm gonna recess it about 3 1/8. So I'm gonna recess this and drop it down. But what happens is that when I do that, that leaves me very little meat there underneath. It's less than 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to take some 1/2 inch plywood and laminate that to the back of this, and then it's also going to serve as my capture point. So I've taken the top, or my cast iron base, off of my drill press, and this is what I'm going to use for my layout, and so that I know it'll fit perfect. I've got a line in the back here which tells me how far back. I had this on the drill press before I took it off, so I know how far back I can put my table before this edge binds up against the post. So I'm going to square this up on here, get my dimensions out here, rip a couple pieces, butt them up to this, glue them down, get a piece across the front here. It doesn't have to be this full width, just a piece, so that when I slide this on, I've got a stop. Then on the back, I'll have to figure out something too to make sure that my table doesn't want to slide on me forward once I get it down on the drill press table. So if I want to drill metal, I can take this off, use my original drill press table to drill metal, put this on when I'm drilling wood, and then I can have a fence, and I'll put stops on it. I'll show you all that when I get it all figured out. The other thing that I have to deal with, and I don't know if you can see this, but I'll try and zoom in here, is right here, because this was my old top. I got these cut off screws that I had. So I'm gonna, if I make a dado cut on the top, I'm going to run into those screws. So I got to locate those and remove them. I've got two on each side to to get out so I don't ruin my blade. So let me figure all this out. I'll get my layout lines and then we'll come back to this. Okay, I just want to give you a different perspective of what I got going on here. I got my square on here. On this side, this casting is not square. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make this side, which when I flip this over will be my left side. I've got my table marked here with an F and an arrow that this is going to be my front edge. So when I put this back on my drill press, I know that that's where that's going to go. I've got it relatively centered. It's within a 32nd of an inch, so I'm fine with that. What I found on this other edge though is that this edge, this corner, this near corner to me, which will be the near right corner, is a bit less than 8 inches, which is good. And the back is just a bit more than 8. So that means I got a slight taper, but that's okay. It's good to have the wider part in the back so that when I slide on my table, it's going to kind of form a bit of a wedge, and then I can figure out what I want to do in the back here as far as securing it to keep it from moving forward. So I'm good to go with that. I'm going to lay out my screws here. I got to get this guy here removed. Then there's one over here and one there. Got one up front and one in the middle, and I'm gonna have to probably worry about that one in the middle as well, because if that ends up being a spot where I want to drill through, I don't want to hit that screw. And besides that, I want to recess a drop-in plate that I can remove, take it in and out, make it out of MDF, something that once it gets chewed up, you want to put a new one in, you can, easy enough. Okay, what I did was I marked the inside and the outside of the screw, transferred those two lines around my top, and marked a center line here. This is from a different one, but mark my center line. So I'm going to drill with a 3/8 high-speed steel bit. I'm going to drill in the center of those two lines and on the center of that mark. And see if I hit pay dirt here. I shouldn't have to go too deep. Actually, I'm going to get a center punch and make a mark on that before I drill, so my bit doesn't drift on me. Okay, got my mark centered here, and I'm pretty sure I'm right over it because that laminate broke pretty easy right over that point. The glue up, there she is. I don't know if you can see that or not. So yeah, I went right through and came right on top of my screw there. Let me drill out the rest of them. We'll pop those screws and we'll be good to go. And there's the second one. Screws, the holes filled with cement. Well, I think I'll just, yeah, they're just spinning. I'll turn it over and just pop them out that way. Okay, mission accomplished. I had a little blowout on the other ones over here, but I don't really care about the outside ones. They're going to be covered by, or that's all going to be dated away. The center one though, I didn't want that to happen, so I went and changed bits and went to a 7/16 bit and just drilled down a little deeper, and then that one popped right out without any problem. So got all my screw heads out of the way, so I'm good to go now. I can turn this back over and get my pieces back laminated on here. Which I have cut. And hang on, I'll get things rearranged. Alright, I'm just going to get my top lined up with my lines here. That looks good. It looks really good. Okay, so here are my capture pieces I'm going to mount on here. On that side, one on this side. So I can see that I've got, that I'm tight here. This one's tight all the way down pretty much. This one is loose in the back. I've got a little bulge in my table right about right here. So I think what I'm going to do is just hang with this edge up front here. It's pretty straight, this first 4 or 5 inches. So I'll ride that part, actually it extends back to about here. I'll ride this edge here and let that run away back there. That's pretty parallel. As a matter of fact, that's real parallel. This side is good and parallel as well. So get some glue, slap these down. What I'm going to do before I do that though is get this up on some blocks so I can get my clamps underneath here, so I get good good pressure all the way across. So let me get this thing raised up so I can get some clamps underneath.